Hola a todos. Estamos aquí para dibujar. Yo pienso. My Spanish ain't that good, but we're not here to speak Spanish, y'all. We here to look at one of the worst sketchbooks I've ever had. Now, not worst in the traditional sense. I love the art within the sketchbook, but I think the art was so good in this sketchbook. So me. It didn't alter the structure of my wrist. So let's take a look at some of the drawings that I've done that have just completely got my wrist wiped out. I ain't said a thing. You, we, us. We gotta get in the green. Yeah.
Can't say how I'm feeling inside. I wanna be sales, but got too much pride. I wanna be sales, but I really help. Don't really like help, but I tell you I tried. I did everything else but cry. I done smoke all my weed, young nigga on fried. You can see all this shit in my eyes.
Every time. But please like the video. If you do, if you enjoy watching me talk to you about the drawings I got and the context behind them, comment if it's something interesting or what you're doing of the current. I know a lot of times when y'all draw, you maybe listen to music or watching something. Tell me about that. And subscribe for more. Because I'm going to keep doing this whether y'all are watching or not. Just like I'm still making my comment, whether y'all read it or not. And my wrist hurt. But I'm keep drawing. If my wrist can't do it, my elbow will do it. If my elbow can't do it, my shoulder will do it. Yeah. But anyway, let's take a look at that sketchbook. And thank you. Thank you for watching. Of course, my desk looks like it's been used. I got that new one because my brother got it for me, I think Christmas. He's also the same one that got me those wood carving tools so I could be able to like carve. Where is he? Him. Waddle. He's not done yet, but he's come a long way. So we'll have to see how that progresses. But anyway, here is the sketchbook we gotta look through. The one that really broke me. It destroyed me. Got Dondre. I still have never used him, but he sits here on my desk, a passive listener. So what we got here, I think it's gonna be like a drawing where it's like a person on the moon with like moon rock powers, but a lot of the ideas I have, if they're not inspired by something I've seen, they're a recycling of something old. So like, if you read some of my comic, you'd look at, and I like put my drawings as a youngin', like side by side, you'd be like, I can see the progression, you know? That's why I gotta keep my old art, cause like seeing the evolution of that brings these singular pieces into a greater context. What I got right here is a drawing of my character Damani in his Vanta Visor form up against a character that I haven't introduced in my series yet, but I'm fairly sure this encounter is like followed by some other interactions too. So like there's other drawings to pair with them for like a sort of arc or section of my story I want to do with my characters. Right here is a list of the possible spirals I was gonna do. Like if y'all see my other videos, you see them on like my wrist, my neck. There's just some other possibilities I was gonna do. Now there are a lot of incomplete drawings that are like concepts for E-Kings that I've done that I'll have to return to when my mind has more pieces for them. Because as of now, I got like the most random shit on my desk. But here's Jay with his powers. Technically, they're still asleep at the part I'm writing. Well, asleep. They're still out of commission in the story as of right now. But I already kind of have them kind of thought up of what their powers could be. And you even see like me throw different ideas over the course of this whole sketchbook. Like you got Jay with his Conqueror's Root power. I still haven't even drawn it of what it'll actually look like because I wanted to reach it and then do it. But obviously y'all know what the plan is. Give these people powers and make them fight and do all this other stuff. And yeah, but I gotta get there first. I gotta take my time and I'm impatient. But you can kind of see me having fun with like what I could do with my characters. Like I've got a little sketch of Manager Man's miniature, well he's always miniature, his small self Here's like me trying to take a jab at the body types. You got Trey with his massive afro. You got Jay. You got Cleo. You see your glasses. You see Manager Man. You got Ricky. Man, I haven't drawn him in a minute. He'll be back though. You got Cleo and her waves. I wanted her to stand out with her hair because I'm gonna have to do a lot with it. It'll change a bit over the series. But as of right now, she has waves and massive earrings. And a lot of piercings. I thought that for her character, it'd have to be at least the most expressive. Because that correlates with her being, one of the first orators we even see in the story. And so here's some of what I got for Trey. I've got like a massive pillar, some gloves at the bottom. I've got him kind of enshrouded in like a wrap, but I want his powers to be salt-based. Like Trey and Jay are supposed to work off each other in terms of like forgiveness and assertion, this back and forth of how to treat people. And so that's why I want them as like main characters, as like a duo. You get me? So his powers have to be less combative and more supportive. So his powers are harder to figure out, especially tying all the themes together that I want. But Jay's powers are easier because it's more of, here's one thing that he can do that he'll do a lot with. But yeah, a lot of these characters are based off of relatives, my family, siblings, parents, people I know. Like, and so it's like, if you knew me personally, you could probably like map out where I'm getting certain things from. Well, I'll probably talk about my like influence on my characters later, like when people actually ask about that, because I don't want to just go too in depth with it yet. But I do love this one because it has a lot of energy to it. Like out of a lot of the drawings I've made, I'm fairly proud of just the sketch. It has motion, it has weight to it. It truly feels like these roots are carrying him off the ground despite him trying to seek control. I love that. Here's Cleo. Like, I want her powers to be very varied because like currently in the story she's summoning food ghosts to fight ghosts, but she'll obviously have to go through a reformation of what her true abilities are. So I won't speak too much on her, but admire some of the art. Look at the ghosts in the corner, me playing with her expressions, just trying to get comfortable with my characters. And here's the characters from, the underground, the sanctuary that they're in currently. You got Frankie, you got Bando, Timbu, and Lele. But if you have read up to recent, then you would know Bando is not dead. Well, I don't want to say that, but Bando's been consumed, Timbo is injured, and Lele's watching after him, and Frankie's been forced into an awful situation. So that's kind of where the story's at currently. We are following other characters besides my main duo, but I want y'all to first see how Orator fights work and how these characters in this world behave, sort of. Like, I want you to get kind of like a common idea of what I'll be returning to throughout my comic while learning how to write it. Here's a duck, because my dad's nickname is Duck. Like, that's what my great-grandma Cleo called him, Duck. I think he even has a duck tattoo on his right wrist. Sorry, random numbers keep calling me, and it irritates me because I've been going to pick up the phone and be aggressive and mean, but every time you pick up, they don't say anything. And that makes me even more angry. You know what I mean? But here's a little sketch of what Trey and Jay would have looked like. Well, I'm not really sure if I'll keep it, but you got Jay at the bottom with his wording on his chest, because Orator's going to be covered in words. Their items, the things they conjure. Like, I want it to be very blatant in how they present themselves. But Trey's powers were always so much harder to figure out. I had to constantly return because it's like, it was always an aesthetic thing that I'd reach before like functional and how he'd actually utilize it and how that matches with his character. Like, a lot more thought is coming when it comes to like him and his whole thing. So I need to get limited. But here's Trey. Here's him and his like mind realm. I was planning for when my characters wake up, or not wake up, but as of current in the story, Trey and Jay have been taken out by a monster with a great appetite. It can't fully sustain itself. It's always hungry. But they get taken out by it, impaled. And so the woman that's told them about this ancient city, she sends off her rock monster to find the monster that, has taken them out. And she gathers their bodies and talks about how their souls are still tethered to the bodies. They haven't left yet. And so she pulls out these green seeds and she feeds it to them. But I haven't returned to where they're at in the story yet. But I want them to go to a sort of mind dream sequence, but right before they actually are woken back up as orators. And so you kind of have a little view of what Trey's mind is like. I've got the pillar in the back. I've got a fountain and a pathway that leads up. I've got him in the foreground, kind of looking off to it. Don't really know what he's thinking. But he's mostly intrigued, a bit confused, but not feeling threatened. Jay's is a bit incomplete, which is ironic because it's like for Trey's powers to not be thought out and his sequence to be more well thought out, but Jay's as vice versa, it's a bit amusing because I have no clue how the sequence is going to play out until I write it. I feel like I won't know how Jay's dream sequence goes until I write it. But that's because Jay as a character isn't supposed to be someone who just yields the insides of his mind so easy. But it exudes from him, so you know it in a way. Here's more drawings of Tim Boo without like his mask sleeve as he turns his body in a ribbon. I wanted a lot of these characters to not have powers necessarily be violent in nature, but can be used versatile. So Tim Boo has a power that he can turn his body into ribbons for the sake of control or capture, things like that. So here's more drawings of Frankie, Bando, Tim Boo up top. We got Layla again at the bottom. I haven't figured out her powers, but I figure when I do, it'll help. Oddly enough, what I have drawn here won't happen. Not like this. Because what I've depicted in the comic on my Patreon, he's already been consumed. So like, Bando's visible body is no longer present. It's just Mooney, this head taking over the entire body. And this, the rock monster, he is not shown back up yet. Yeah, I know I draw a lot of my own comics because I work on it so often that it's like at this point, you see why this sketchbook had my wrist out of capacity, because I'm trying to put a lot of thought into this comic, my characters. I mean, here's Cleo again and her ghost powers to summon them, and Tim Boo and his ribbons, Cleo's book, and these are the seeds that Trey and Jay had to consume to wake back up, or I guess halt the process of them passing on. And here's Manager Man farting so gassily that he lifts off into the air, and there's the rest of the E-King staff to watch. I think this is a concept I was going to have like a drum and like a vat of sap. There's going to be a parallel for Trey and Jay when they like have their dream sequences, but I don't want to speak too much because it's like, just read it. If I tell you it all, then there's no point in me drawing it, right? And here's Jay. I always wanted them to have like a relationship kind of similar to Johnny and Gyro, but a lot more brotherly. Because Jay's a lot more intense and serious, and he will take up for himself. But Trey is a lot more easygoing and forgiving. And so they almost kind of keep each other in check when it comes to how they treat themselves and other people. And here's me. I don't know who this figure is that I'm having a conversation with, truth be told. But it must be an enlightening conversation. Wait. I know. I think this is like if the Grim Reaper came to see me. Whoa. I might have to burn this page. But this one is just a peeking face and like a little guy just kind of hiding. It could be a cool painting, but I was going to go for it. A lot of the writings you see are just like me trying to plot my day. And here is more of Cleo stuff, because right here what I've got is I'm trying to like plot out some of her other attributes, her book. But here's the current, or oh no, actually not the current fight. This is her summon the banana pudding boxer, and this is the ghost she's fighting. His name is Damdu. He has like 4 arms and a halo, and he's bound in these wrists and cuffs, kind of akin to like Genie from Aladdin. So those cuffs do come with conditions, even as he is fighting the ghost Cleo summons. And so in this current part that I'm writing, I've swapped out for a different ghost. You'll probably see them in a few pages. But here's Jay. Oddly enough, every time I draw him, his locks get longer. I don't know why I do it. Technically, within the story, not even a few hours have passed, and I've been writing the story for over a year. I've been writing the story for over a year, and the story has only lapsed maybe a few hours. Do you not realize how crazy it is? These characters are technically older than me, but by the time I finish, they'll still be however old they may end up. But I think that's a cool little journey to document a story that only I can truly see with my own head. That's why I have to give it to y'all. Here's more drawings of Jay and kind of a concept I got for him with like an axe he'll have with him, along with his root wood powers. I thought it'd be cool, but I wanted to hold off on just him having it so soon. I kind of want him to get used to his powers before he starts using like extra tools and stuff. Here's Cleo and one of her summons. This one isn't a food, it's just a fruit, a watermelon whale. So even though, the convention for her gourmet ghosts are recipes within her gourd grimoire, the watermelon ghost still gets to stay. I'll do what I want. If it's a food, if it can be eaten, it's going in the book. It's going in the book. If it can be eaten, consumed, put on you, it's going in the book. I write this story. I drive the boat. We're going where I say we're going. And a lot of this is just more Eat King's concepts I'm throwing around. I'm figuring out where on Trey I may put his wording. I don't know what I'll call it, because like technically I've called them Oracasts, but I'll probably just change the name, because when I started writing like the power system and the characters, I wasn't sure of anything. So a lot of these are just kind of like very loose sketches to get the idea going. Here's more Frankie. Now you can see her original name, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. Changing that. I did not run by the name by anyone, but now I realize the pit stop. But this is Frankie. She's got dream powers. You know what I'm saying? So like she can summon these clouds that kind of push things out of them that are sort of, the clouds conjure dream items in a way. So when she slides on her bandana, she becomes a lot more stronger. She's kind of reaching into her mind, her mental space, and pulling out these objects out of her dreams to use to fight. And so I thought a fight like that would be very interesting, because it's like, what's the interweaving of your own physical capabilities and your mind's capabilities within this fight? And so I guess as like an orator, I'm already coming off strong of what this could be for, a fight within my story. But I still gotta learn how to like draw people fighting, especially in like mystical, fantastical means. So I gotta read more fighting manga and more comics. But here's Jay fighting the guy from a few pages. So let me go back to the drawing I showed you before. Now, I think it's further in the beginning, oddly enough. So Jay is fighting this guy. You probably understand that because this drawing after. So it's Jay talking to Vance Advisor, and it's Mance at the top of the staircase. And so in this drawing, Jay's at the center, or at least somewhat up the staircase, and he's giving him, he's just giving him all his wood. Throwing wood at him. And so Jay's kind of helping out his coworker. Even though, Damani, Vance Advisor's a teen superhero, but he is based off Shazam. If you've seen like past videos, you kind of get what I'm going for. And so Jay, in this panel, you can see the sound effects of his Conqueror's Root and the destruction here at the top as Mansa tries to like keep himself safe from all these roots coming to tear him up. You get what I'm saying? Because Jay's roots do act almost like vines or snakes, but his roots don't talk the same way Cleo's ghosts do. Like Cleo's ghosts, like if you've been reading my comic, they almost announce their names. Like Banana Pudding Boxer is like Padu Padu Padu. Like a Pokemon. And Cornbread Brute, like a Pokemon, he announces his name. He's like, Brutu, Brutu, Brutu. But Jay's Conqueror's Root doesn't speak. It does, but it don't. Not in a way that anyone else but Jay will understand. But when he activates that Conqueror's Root, you'll hear that sound effect. You'll hear that Concru. It sounds corny, but it's so cool if I could show you. Like, it's got a lot of energy. And so in the drawing after, it's Jay, making a little promise to his they're not brothers, but that's his little bro, that's his little cousin. That's a dude younger than him. So he's gonna take up the mantle of being like an elder to bro, cause that's what he doing. He being a big bro to his homie. So he's stepping up for him. He's like, yeah, you ain't gotta fight no more. You done beat yourself up too much. Sit this one out. I got it. And then, he tell him some crucial information. And the hat come off. Because you don't see it off right here. Hat come off. And all you see is destruction. Check that nigga up. But here's a little sketch I did for a friend of mine. They got like the series on YouTube. I forgot the name. I'll probably have to link it in the comments. I'll just probably drop it in the comments and link it. But he got like a character of his that I had to draw. Because he reached out to me to like get like a little concept done. And I was like, this is kind of hard. I gotta like get a feel for the character first before I make like artwork of them, even with my own characters. Here's some storyboards of a chapter that is not going to come out for a while, but it's very soon at the same time, so I'll skip past it. But it has a lot to do with Vantavisor. This is a storyboard for, I would say, chapter 11. I'm fairly sure this is chapter 11. Yeah, this is the one on my Patreon. They would have already seen this. Yeah. Don't worry about this. This was at a family reunion. I was learning, stories about my grandfather and whatnot. I never formally spoke to him myself while he was living. But hearing about, what he was like and what he was up to, it was kind of cool. And here is more tray notes that I had. I was starting to fully come together with the idea of what his power is and how that functions and all that. Like, I was finally starting to put things together. But I had to come out with some Vantavisor artwork because this character isn't even in the comic, or at least the main story yet. Like, he's been in a few shorts, some of the artwork, but this main story that I started a year or so ago, he hasn't shown up yet. There's good reason, but he hasn't. Wanted to get another feel because obviously my characters are going to change looks now that my art style is different, and I'm showing you a lot more stuff, and now their personalities are coming more into my mind. Plot them out some more. And so here you kind of see sketches for Frankie. This is like one of her dream summon entities, because orators do conjure entities, apparitions, beasts, substances. Like, think kind of like a mix of devil fruit powers and stands. But people are able to cast spells since they're called orators, and the power system is very word-based. So I'm kind of giving myself leeway to do a lot with what a character could deal with due to an orator's ability, powers, conditions. But here you see the fight between Damdu and Cornbread Brute. This is the fight I'm currently writing. And so you got the split. You got Damdu looking at him all menacing, and Cornbread up here. And they're, sizing each other up. Because mind you, this fight is taking place inside of a ghost whale's stomach. So they're sitting on a piece of old food, floating on top of a sea of stomach acid that breaks down ghosts. So they in a perilous situation. You get me? But just read Eat Kings, you'll find out more. Because Damdu has these cuffs engraved with words like shame, guilt, lament. I think also regret as well. And here's just some of like me practicing of like what this area looks like, how it'll appear, just so I could kind of get used to my wrist doing the movements of what to expect, what to see. And here's some of Trey, his ability or how I'll do his portrayal. Now, his character design is a bit plain and it's uninteresting, but at the same time, it makes him unassuming. And I didn't want him to be a menacing character. I want him to come off kind. That's why, in comparison, Jay has heavy brows. He truly does wear his assertion on his face. Here's more sketches of Mansa. His belt buckle, his crown, his cape. He kind of looks like Drake in this one. And this is just a skull I was doing. It's alright, but it could be better. I could have added dimension here for the bridge and the brow, cheeks, and you know, there's stuff I could have added. Here's notes I took. Don't worry about that. This was for a Mooney drawing that I did, that I was going to do, but I changed it into something else after Mooney transforms after consuming Bando in the comics. See, if y'all were reading Eat Kings, you would know who's getting ate up. You would know who's getting ate up. But if you want to check out the artwork, you can either go to my Twitter or my Patreon. I want to make posters and prints and sell them. Not for too much, but I know there'll at least be one person that wants to. Here's just some drawings I was doing. This one, it turned out well, so I left it. These were some test drawings I was doing. But these were the drawings I was doing for what I asked you as my audience. I'm still doing this. It'll just take a while. Like, honestly, it'll take a while. But 3 stories, right? The audience will choose one that I want to make into a physical one-shot copy to distribute. Your options are Buffer, Crybaby, and Idol. But if you want more information, honestly, watch my draw with me. It is a long video, but you can just skip through it. I won't be mad. And if that isn't enough information, I'm going to come out more stuff sooner. Like, if you've been on my Patreon, you've seen the artwork for Buffer, and I've even given you kind of some information on what to go off of when it comes to how the one-shot will turn out as a story. Just a taste of like the concepts I'm throwing around and what I'll be writing. But I want you all as my audience to choose the story that I write, so that one, I have more than just Eat Kings to give you, but also because it'll at least have a guaranteed market in a way. But here's some sketches for the process of Bando being consumed by Mooney and Mooney taking over his body. Mind you, when Mooney was alive, he's a man who didn't have functioning legs. They've been amputated. He was already sick. But he undergoes a transformation that truly distorts his body and his mind. Just a little piece of candy. All it takes. And his body gets distorted and ruined. And he's a bit different from before. And so in this fight, yeah, this is a lot more accurate to how it looks in the comic. Mooney transforms, and Frankie's faced with a man she thought she knew. Her friend Bando is trapped inside of a monster, and that monster controlling his body claims to be a man that she loves. She has a hard time believing that this parasite that's eaten and taken over her friend's body used to be someone that she held a lot of affection for. And so in my comic, if you read it, you know, they're going back and forth about what life was like, what is current. But at the end of it all, she's not buying his act. Or at least she thinks it's an act. You get what I mean? And so, they'll have to fight. And here's some sketches for Cornbread Brute, Dom Do. Like, you can kind of see that I was using this sketchbook a lot for either potential art ideas, plotting out my comic. Like, I essentially devoted my wrist to a lot of these chapters. And I don't want to take a break, but I have to. But here, right here. This right here is a drawing I was going to do for a new character. I wanted to, like, make some art, get, like, little concepts going. He was going to be, like, a foil to another character I have. He's supposed to be, like, the idea for this guy is that his name is Boogie, but it's also bougie. And so, like, he's the boogeyman, but, like, in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's in the shadows, and you never get a good look at him, but once you do, you see he's blinged out, decked out. He an all nighttime pimp in a way. Like, he a shadow entity. It's weird. It's like a boogie. He is a boogeyman personified as a character, I guess. I was going to do a lot of commentary on it. But here are the protagonists. Jay and Trey. You've got Trey in his afro. some cloth, and his aura cast across his torso from chest to abdominal, and Jay's goes across his chest. Conqueror. But I was gonna have theirs spelled with just consonants. I thought that'd be an interesting way to go about it. I wanted to be very, loose with it. I didn't want to be too strict. And here's a still life. Not still life, a quick study I did. I was at the bowling alley with some friends. If they tell you I was losing in bowling, I was not. I was tearing them up. Keep that in mind. Tearing them up. But here's me, the sketch. There's my bag. There's the funnel cake fries, I think, that were right here. And across from me was the other table. I think purse and another bag. I was gonna draw my friends sitting here, but they were up and about. So they're kind of there and they're not. My homie was right here and he was kind of posing for it, so he let me draw him. I was getting all the details of the table, what was on it, underneath, the floor, the back, the background. Yeah, the background. I was almost gonna get my terms mixed up. I even got my Sprite lemonade right here. Like, I literally put Sprite and lemonade in a cup. I like both drinks, but And here's just a bowling ball, hitting some pins. I was trying to draw my win so I could get it finalized in real life, but I don't think it worked. It's just storyboards. You see the scene I've been working on currently for Eat Kings. Cleo takes over the ghost so she can control them and makes him do the cha-cha slide, but I think that might be copyrighted, so I just changed the lyrics up. I was not trying to touch the legality of that. You can kind of see the energy in these sketches. It's hard to truly keep them replicated when I transfer them to the iPad, and that disappoints me a little bit, but at least you understand the idea, the intention. And here's just another quick study I did while I was at the gym. I was at you can see the exercise bikes here, the exit, the rack, and then the grassy area over there. Now here we've got an astronaut. Now, I haven't drawn an astronaut like I used to in a while. I'm trying to get a feel for the space and draw the cockpit of a spaceship, but it was okay. This one was me drawing before I even got my tattoo. This one on my wrist. So that was me waiting to get done. Drawings right here that I was doing that I wanted for item. But I don't know if I'll keep the concept, but it'll be tossed a bit. You can see me kind of come back, develop some of these ideas. Another quick study I was doing. Nowhere important. This was the artwork I was doing for Buffer. I don't know why, out of all the 3 one-shots I proposed, I think this one actually has the least amount of votes. But it's the one I had sat down and was able to develop the most in my head. And so you got the head here and the pill up top, and it's David holding the apparition. There's gonna be 2 characters. I was really getting a feel for the main character, his current, you can see here, it's a foot, grocery bag, a shot with the guy, and I'll just tell you the story, bro. He's starting to change his daily routine. He starts taking this new medicine, drinking this new drink, and so this greenish alien substance goo guy appears. And so, obviously over the course of the story, the ultimate choices of returning back to normalcy or regular sedation or giving up on a world that you never cared for in the first place. And so I guess that's kind of the weight of Buffer in a way. That was going to depict through a person within the same universe as Trey and Jay. But obviously all the stories are kind of the same universe. And you can kind of see me develop the main character more and how they'll look. Here's David. Now, he's also called Pokey because he only really got one eye. The other one's kind of not working properly. And here's the goo monster. I was going to call him Wing, but it might be something different. We're trying to learn music. There's me playing an oversized banjo. And here's notes I was taking on production and sound and stuff. Because I genuinely wouldn't mind making music as an art form, just as a hobby. And here's an E-Kings drawing I got. Here's all the characters, man. You got Manager Man, the dog, Round Beef. You got Jay, Trey, Cleo, Ricky. Yeah, Damani is missing. I spelled E-Kins. There's no G. I just realized that. But that kind of works. It works, actually. It's fine. Here are sketches I'm doing for paintings I want to get done. I need more canvases. I'm running out. And it's sad because I'm getting better at painting and there's so much more I want to make. But I got to return back to this one because it's going to be a cool painting. And maybe this one, but I don't know what this could become. Like, yeah, these are sketches, but y'all got to use your imagination to realize the potential of a lot of these. If you give it the right lighting, the right color palette, the right mood. You go monochrome, or you're doing like a triadic split. Like, what are you going for with the colors? Here's a painting I don't remember if I finished this or not. I don't know where it is, but if I can find it, I'll get it done. But I honestly started something totally different instead. Here's me drawing a bunch of figures. I was trying to force myself to get back into like studying that like gesture and all that for my comic. I didn't want to get stiff. Do a few hands and some feet. And it's crazy because honestly, my issue is that I'm not really oftentimes using a reference. That's it. Like, you can tell when like I'm kind of just drawing it to get it out the way. When if I use the reference, my drawings would look a lot better. But that means a lot of what you're seeing is freehand from the eye or from the mind. And so here's some more hand drawings. There's Trey holding one of his discs that disintegrate into salt. I love what this could be. I also love like the perspective on this. I'm proud of it. And here's like their minds as they're kind of still out of commission after their grave injury. This was a different concept. I got going for a character. This is gonna be a robot that I want to show back up. If you were like somebody that found E-Kings from TikTok, then you might recognize Bolivar Burst. He's like a plumber of the pipes in like the underground system of the city that can sweat bubbles as his Orator ability. And there's this robot that they're gonna encounter down there. That's kind of what I had planned, but I don't know where it'll go for real. I'll have to find out. These lines right here, they're just me kind of making the order of like the chapters and what they'll cover over the next course of entries. And just from this alone, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. This is 5 months, and that'll only be 5 chapters. But if you support the Patreon, honestly, this process will be a lot faster. Truth be told, this process will be a lot faster for you to see if you were supporting the Patreon, because on the webtoon, you're getting the monthly. That's just the easiest way for me to get them out, but with how my life is moving forward, that may even slow down itself, because of my wrist and because I need to make money and go to work and stuff. So things will change. And that's sad, but I'll still be trying to upload here and make E-Kings and all that. It'll still be here. It'll just take a longer time. Here's some other sketches I done for the painting video I haven't finished yet. But the painting is turning out very well. It's not exactly like this sketch, but it's kind of close. Like, I did not do bad with it. But I think, honestly, I'll need a better composition plan. And this was me planning the wood carving. That's a whole different video, but I think you'll see it soon. You'll see it soon. I was mapping out the dimensions with the wood block I had, and I got to carving. And here's just me playing around with my characters' faces and like maybe a cool poster I can make for them. I didn't want to forget how to draw them after so long. And here's some stuff I wrote at the gym, sketches, just to pass the time between sets. I try to go when I can, and oftentimes there's obviously gonna be times where I'm slacking, but I try to at least keep my body active. This was such a great drawing. We went to the Bells Museum in Memphis, and I even posted like the photos on my Patreon for people to see, like just some of the pics. And this sketch doesn't do it justice because it's very intricate, and very ornate. Like, there's figures on every level, and it's like, it's gotta be like 12 feet high. And there's details in the inner chambers that go up the top. Like, this is a view of like kind of the top right there in a different panel. And there's people inside of it that you really wouldn't even see unless you acknowledge that you could see them. They probably haven't been touched by human. Well, if these materials are excavated and not like retrieved out of temples, then maybe they are put back together, but I'm not sure. They seem so well put together, it's almost like they were intact when they found them. I'm returning back to Trey and Jay. I've got them kind of in their cocoon phase of becoming an orator. I was gonna actually have them wrapped up in like some foliage, some plant. Here's Mama Eve, you know, with her finger up, kind of wagging at him and stuff. I don't know what I was going for, but I just needed to get like the character back down because I don't have like the anchors for her right. Like, if you're ever drawing characters, especially like your own OCs, there should be anchors or like just common traits that'll consist in a design that keep them looking like themselves, that you can like use to keep the design consistent. You know what I mean? And so for Mama Eve, it's her glasses and her curls. But I need to actually plot out her anatomy, and that might mean honestly changing her design just to fit my needs when it comes to drawing her. And these are actually the last pages in the sketchbook. Here is a drawing of Mooney before his transformation in his wheelchair with no legs, and behind him is his monster form consuming him. And here's just a little drawing of me and a bunch of smoke with squiggles in it. I hid a message in here. A message and an image. Tell me what it says in the comments if you made it this far. Let me know. And right here, I've got a tank. I drew a tank. I put a bunch of lines down and I was like, yeah, it could look like a tank. And so I did that. That's actually all of what's left. Now there are pages left that I could fill. Oh, there's a lot of pages in here. But I could fill them. Genuinely, I could. I might. But the issue is the spine is very warm. And so I don't know if I want to continue. I have another sketchbook anyway, and there's some stickers I want to put on it. Like, where is it? Right here. And I want to keep getting smaller sketchbooks because I truly do understand the value of them. But I don't know if Artist Loft is like cheap or whatever, but these things fall apart very quick. Like, within not that long of using them, the spine is weak and it'll just fall off. And it's like really disheartening. Because it's like, I don't want to open it up too much. Here's a sticker, 6th degree. If you saw my shirt from the intro, I got these stickers from the brand that I was wearing that shirt, 6th degree. I like the shirt. My girl likes the shirt. My brother likes the shirts. Like, the clothing from that brand is a great quality. Like, they can be washed and they won't be ruined. You know, like, they won't be... they last. They're great quality. They feel nice. They have great designs. And so, like, I like them. I'll probably get some sizes that are a little smaller than the ones that I have because my body's slim. We're gonna change cameras and I'm gonna let you go after one final say. What's up, Ivies? That was a long sketchbook tour, but I told you, it was my worst one. It's so bad, I couldn't even finish the book, but I did love the art in it. And I might make, honestly, a sequel video where I finish decorating my next sketchbook and do a little draw with me for some of the pages. A few, maybe not a lot, because I don't think y'all want those longer videos where it's just me barely talking and it's just straight drawing. I don't think y'all enjoy that, even if I highly edit it. But let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the artwork. I mean, I've still got 6th degree on, and this is a different shirt from the one I opened the video with. But I love this shirt. I dig it. I'm not gonna hold you too long. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment, Let me know what you've drawn. Let me know what you've read recently or what you listened to. Your thoughts in the video or thoughts about certain sketches. Let me know what you do with your sketchbook. Or maybe not. Maybe that's too personal. But anyway, I won't hold you too long. Read E Kings on Webtoon or subscribe to the Patreon for early chapters. It helps support me. It helps keep this all running. But besides all that, hey, I'll let you get in the ground. And please, make your daily do.
Can't tell how I'm feeling inside. I wanna be sealed, but got too much pride. I wanna be sealed, but I really help. Don't really like help, but I tell you I tried. I did everything else but cry. I done smoke all my weed, young nigga on fried. You can see all this shit in my